Hello friends and welcome back. In this video I want to talk about Percy. Why Percy? She's not new. Why bother? Well, why bother? Because many of you guys just download the game or you just started the game and you're wondering at this point how does officer works and who should you obtain first? Well, this video is about you new players. I want to make more contents about the basic stuff so you can get up to speed with this game. So without further ado, let's talk about Percy. Percy comes with the game free of charge. You don't have to sell one of your kidney to obtain her. And she's awesome and she's relatively easy to awaken. What do I mean by that? I'm going to go in depth with all the details about officers so you don't have to figure that one out. Okay? Now, Percy, every time you have an officer, you go to this page and there's a bunch of information you need to understand. Percy, she is a universal officer. She is not dedicated to tank or artillery. She can do both. And she's got a special skill that not everyone understands. So I'm going to talk about that. But first of all, how do you awaken her skill? What do I mean by awaken? On this page, you see there is 4 skills. 1 tactical skill and 3 passive skill. What's the difference between the two? It's quite simple. The tactical skill is a skill that takes time to prep and it releases. And as long as you're fighting or in action, this skill will constantly revolve. It will prep and release, prep and release. So this skill, it takes 8 seconds to load. And every time it's fully loaded, it will launch a special attack that will deal 1200 damage coefficient to the enemy troop. On top of it, your troop will gain an additional 8% firepower for 8 seconds. So since the skill takes 8 seconds to load and you get that power for 8 seconds, every time you're in action, you will constantly get that 8% buff, which is sweet. The 3 other skills, like the fortify skills, it will give you a 25% in damage increase when this unit is garrisoned. What does it mean is when your unit is inside your base and your base is under attack, all your troops will fire from the base to the enemy, toward the enemy, because they are garrisoned. And when she is garrisoned, she will give you an additional 25% of damage rather than if she's on the battlefield. All right? Charmer, increase HP of this officer's troop by 20%. So 20% more, 20% increase of health point. And finally, supply line, increase the blast damage resist of this officer's troop by 50%. So if you are under attack by artillery, you will gain a damage resist of 50% if you fully max that skill. Once all those skills are at level 5, the awaken skill will be available to unlock. You just press on the icon and it will activate. The difference between the standard and awaken skill is not only your troop will benefit from an 8% firepower for 8 seconds, but all the troops around you, your own troops, not from an army group, your own troops will get an additional 8% of firepower for 8 seconds. So how does she play on the battlefield? First of all, if Percy is your first officer to awaken, because it's the easiest one, you will assign her to your most popular troop. If you play with a single tank, you want her leading that tank and another solid officer, right? But as you play the game, you will unlock new officers, and then you have to make a decision to assign her to the proper troop. And you should assign her to an artillery that will stay in your base most of the time defending to benefit from that 25% buff. She is no use on a single unit on the battlefield because she will not buff anyone else besides her own troop. All right, so if you don't understand that, please think about this. You just need to be smart about her, right? Now, how do you unlock her skills? Well, you need, of course, you need statues, and Percy, she works a little bit different than the other officers. She uses her own statues. She has Percy statues. You cannot use other statues like those universal one. You cannot use that. You have to use the Percy statues, and to obtain those Percy statues, you will see that in your daily missions. Every time you level an officer to 10, you will earn Percy statues, and those statues will be used to upgrade those skills until you reach 5 on each skills. All right. The smart way to do this is you focus on one officer. Take any other officer, let's say Spanner, and use those books to upgrade his level to 60. You will earn enough statues to apply them in a fully awake Percy. All right. That's easy. And that's free. So this should be your first officer you level, unload your Made of Money, and you can buy all those statues. Besides that, that's how she works. Now, enough of this. I'm going to show you some in-game footage so you better understand how to use it on the battlefield. And then we'll come back to the conclusion. So let's see how she works on the battlefield. I will attack this Raven bunker. Now pay attention to my artillery. The skill will load. When it's fully loaded, the officer skill will launch. You will see the big bubble, the ring of fire, just like this, and you will see the gun symbol on my artillery and on my tank only, because those are my own unit. The other unit parts of this army group do not benefit from this 8% firepower buff. Okay, now let's see another example. I'm gonna attack another bunker, but I will position my tank farther away from my howitzer. This is my howitzer right there, and pay attention to my tank on the right portion of the screen. I will launch the attack. Now when the officer skill will reach the top, pay attention to my main battle tank. Only my artillery have the gun symbol, meaning that the skill, the firepower buff, only apply to my artillery and not my main battle tank. That's how she works, guys. So now that you better understand Percy, how she works on the battlefield, you'll be good to go. GTG. Guys, I hope you liked the video. Thumbs up if you did. If not, well, too bad for you. Take care. Have a good day.